from Raquel Leviss is accusing James Kennedy of being violent and dangerous in a lawsuit, as experts say she has a stronger case against Ariana than Sandoval, and she says she could see a huge payout. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion. Maybe it's a popular one. I'm not sure. But I want Rachel to kind of be quiet and go away. I'm going to give you all the details and then I'll tell you what I think she should have done instead of filing frivolous, ridiculous lawsuits and starting a podcast that no one is listening to. But let's go. So, this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Rachel Raquel Leviss accused James Kennedy of being violent and dangerous in her bombshell lawsuit against Tom and Ariana. In court documents filed this week in Los Angeles, the Vanderpump Rules alum, 29, suggested that James' despicable behavior was well known by Bravo and its producers and covered up by Lisa Vanderpump. As an expert suggests, she has a stronger case against Ariana than Sandoval, and Raquel shared a news clip in which it was noted that she could receive massive damages from the involved parties. James is prone to violent outbursts and grappling with long-standing substance abuse issues and emotional dysregulation, her documents read. As seen in a post shared on Reddit, James would regularly berate Rachel, falsely accuse her of cheating, and act in a generally unhinged manner. Some of this was captured on camera, some was not. Rachel eventually warned James that she would leave him if he did not stop drinking. However, she soon learned that his despicable behavior was not solely a function of alcohol abuse. A Thanksgiving Day incident with her former fiancé was also mentioned. James erupted at Rachel's mother and father and kicked her family dog 4 times in an uncontrollable rage, she alleged. According to Rachel, Bravo, and Evolution, the company behind the production of Pump Rules, were well aware of the behavior, including James' supposed aggressions against his ex-girlfriend Kristen Doty, 41, and did nothing about it. James's dangerous behavior was well known by Bravo, Evolution, and the cast. James once physically assaulted then cast member Kristen Doty on camera. The footage, however, never aired. Nor has James faced any repercussions for his actions, due in part to the intervention of his powerful ally, Lisa Vanderpump, who served as his protector, the documents stated. Okay. A couple of things with this, and then we'll keep going. My opinion on this is by no means to diminish or devalue or dismiss true victims of domestic violence. It is never okay on any level, whether you are the man, whether you are the female, whether you are trans, whether it is straight, gay, bi, whatever the heck it is, any relationship, any form of domestic violence is not okay ever. Ever. With that being said, Rachel's lawsuit confuses me on a lot of levels. If you are bringing in the fact that James allegedly was abusive to you, why is James not named in the lawsuit? Why are you not suing James for these alleged assaults? You know, I don't know if you can sue for emotional abuse. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know. Why are you not suing James? Why is James not named in the lawsuit? How is it relevant to suing Tom and Ariana for alleged revenge porn and eavesdropping and all of that stuff with Scandival? Are you conflating issues? Also, if you choose to stay in an abusive relationship, and I'm not victim shaming, I'm not blaming anybody, because it is very hard to extract yourself from abusive relationships. So I'm not victim shaming or blaming. I'm just saying, in the real world, if a person, any person, chooses to stay for whatever reason out of themselves being addicted to the violence, because there are people who are addicted to the cycle. We all know people who are in, whether they are abusive relationships, whether it's emotionally or cheating or even sometimes violence, who are kind of addicted to it. You can't tell them nothing about their boo when it's happy day. But on mad day, they're going to tell you every single horrible thing that this person has ever done to them. But in the honeymoon phase, you better not say a word about their boo thing, right? All of that stuff. You're an adult. You're choosing to be with this man. How is it Bravo's fault that you're choosing to stay in a relationship with this man? I'm not saying that he isn't abusive. I'm not saying he is. I don't know. That's not even for the courts to decide, because again, she's not suing James. So I'm really confused on that one. How is that relevant to this case? Doesn't make any sense to me. I think Rachel wanted fame. She sought him out. She said it herself that I think it was her dad dropped her off where he was DJing to meet him. So if you are a stalker fan and you seek somebody out because you want to be on a show and you want fame and you've watched him on said show, you know who he is and you still seek him out and you choose to stay in a relationship with him to the point where you get engaged to him, how is that anybody else's fault but your own? And I'm not blaming her or shaming her if she's a victim of domestic violence. I'm just looking at it objectively because I know it's very hard for people who are in truly abusive relationships to extract themselves. Sometimes it's even physically dangerous for them to do that. I understand that 100%. I'm just talking about this particular situation. Okay. So that really confuses me with all of this. Also, bringing Kristen Doty into the situation. If there is footage of James physically hitting Kristen, we need to see it. It needs to be leaked. Something needs to happen. Kristen has alluded to things, but hasn't really said things. But that's also Kristen's story to share. So for Rachel to be like, they're exploiting me and all of this stuff, and they're eavesdropping and exploiting my stuff. If James was physically against Kristen, because we did see on the show they had a very unhealthy, definitely bare minimum. Actually, it was physically abusive, but what we saw on the show, again, I don't know if it's true that him being abusive to her wasn't shown. That's what she's alleging. We haven't seen it, so I don't know. But what we did see on the show, what I saw with my own two eyes, because I watched the show, was Kristen punched James in the face. I think it was at Sheena's first wedding, I think. She punched him in the face. Now, he was emotionally and mentally abusive to her. We saw that on the show, and she was to him. So clearly, there has been violence on some level in their relationship. If he's being protected and they didn't show it, we need to see it. I'm not saying that didn't happen or not. But again, how is that relevant to what Rachel is saying? Because that's Kristen's story to share, and that's Kristen's obligation or job or choice, rather, if she wants to pursue something against Bravo or Evolution or James or Lisa or whatever, because that's what happened to her. So again, I'm super, super confused about everything Rachel is saying. And we're going to finish up the article and all the allegations, and then I'll tell you what I actually think Rachel should have done if her intentions were in the right place, because I actually don't think Rachel is this victim. I think she's pissed that the story didn't turn out that she was the princess, that she was the victim, that she was, the one who was wronged. I think she's pissed that she didn't get the money she thought she was going to get. I think she's pissed she didn't get the narrative she thought she was going to get. But at the end of the day, the only person she can blame for that is herself, because she was actually being set up to be the darling of Vanderpump Rules. Her entire edit of season 9 or 10, was it? Whatever season that we're not on, the season that just passed, her entire edit was setting her up to be the darling of the show. She finally got rid of abusive James Kennedy, and she was standing on her own and finding her own self. She's standing up to Lala and Katie, the bullies, and she was finding her own voice. She was being set up to be the darling of the show, to get the deals, to get the money, to get the narrative, to get all of that. She herself chose to have an affair with Tom Sandoval when cameras were down and nobody asked her to. She chose to bust it open for him. So the demise of Rachel is nobody's fault but Rachel. These are all choices this adult woman made. She's about to be 30 years old. These are all the choices she made. And I'm going to tell you what I think she really should have done rather than this wackadoodle lawsuit that nobody asked for and nobody needed, and is wasting valuable resources for people who are domestic violence survivors and victims, people who really have been victims of revenge porn. Nobody has seen this alleged FaceTime video. It's not circulated. It's not on a website. You can't Google it and watch it. I'm confused by her whole situation on this. I think she's pissed that Ariana was the winner, because I think a big part of even the reason why she got with Sandoval was because a part of her wanted to feel like she was better than the other girls. He wants me, not you. I'm better than you. A lot of women, and I'm not bashing women, I'm a woman myself, but if we're being honest, a lot of women compete with each other over men. And for whatever sick reason, whether it's society, misogyny, whatever, there's a sick ego boost of thinking that I got him over her. We saw it with Portia and Fallon, with Gubadier, who's about to be deported. Like, we saw it with them. Beautiful, talented woman, her self-worth wrapped up in, I'm gonna get your man. He's gonna pick me. It's pick Misha energy. Anyway, let's keep going. As for Raquel's lawsuit against Ariana and Sandoval, in which she accuses the ex-couple of revenge porn and invasion of privacy, among other charges, an attorney has suggested that she has a greater chance of winning her case against Ariana than Sandoval. The case against Tom is actually weaker than the case against Ariana, Naima Rahami, who is not part of the case, told Us Weekly on February 29th. And I'm a little suspect on that lawyer. You're not part of the case, but you're talking to Us Weekly. Like, are you a plant? This is why under California's revenge porn statute, there is a requirement that the porn be distributed. We know that Tom was allegedly participating in this FaceTime, and he may have recorded it, but it's unclear whether he sent it to anyone. As Pump Rules fans will recall, Ariana and Sandoval split in March of 2023 after Ariana discovered a video of Raquel on his phone. The allegations are that Ariana got access to Tom's phone and sent it to herself and to Rachel. So that would be distribution there. Is it distribution if she sent it to the person in the video? Come on now. Of course, we don't know who has the video and who it was sent to, the attorney continued. Right, because you're not a part of the case, so why are you talking about it? The complaint says that it may have gone to members of the production company or even the studio, in which case the distribution requirement would be met. But based on the complaint itself, I don't know how strong of liability case it is against Tom. It should be noted that Ariana has come out and said that she did not distribute it to anyone. So she's come out and said, this isn't what happened. I didn't distribute it to anybody. According to Naima, Raquel's lawsuit will be based on how many people received the clip. If it was disseminated far and wide and there's a video out there and dozens of more people have seen it, that's a big problem, he noted. But that's the thing, though. It's like, isn't Naima the same? No, he's a different lawyer. But this is the thing, though. I don't think it's been publicly distributed. Is there a difference between public distribution versus private distribution? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's like levels to it. I'm not sure. I don't know the statutes in it, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Once it's out there on the internet, but it's not on the internet. That's the whole thing. That's why I don't know why this person is saying that, because can we watch it? Is it on TikTok? Is it on Reddit? Is it on the dark web? No. To my knowledge, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that this video was ever, quote, leaked publicly. You can't unring the bell, but if it was really limited in terms of the distribution, it just went to Ariana, Tom, and Rachel, I think it's a much weaker case. I think that's more of what it is. I think it was to Tom, Ariana, Rachel. I think she told Sheena about it and all of that stuff. Anyway, my point is this. I think that Rachel should have just not sued. Again, I don't know why everybody is on this like lawsuit train, because, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox. I do it every time, but I'm gonna do it again because it grinds my gears, because there's so many people out there, and I'm not dismissing whatever pain or whatever distress this Scandival situation may have caused on Rachel. She's still a human being. So I'm not dismissing that. But do I think it rises to the level of suing Tom and Ariana and the network and all these people? No. It makes no freaking sense. And there are so many people out there who don't have, the resources and the money and the access and the, quote, fame to get justice and to get recourse and to get help when they are victims of revenge porn or assault or abuse and all of these things, right? And that's what pisses me off. It's like thinking about all of the people who truly are suffering, who will never have help. And then all of these people, Brandy, Leah McSweeney, Bethany, Nene, Rachel, all suing out of ego. And I'm going to tell you why I know they're all suing out of ego. Because this is what they all should have done. How come they are not opening up or doing anything to help the public, to help the people who make them famous, who make them all this money? Every single lawsuit has been for them to get a payout, to get money, or to be back on Bravo. None of these people have opened up nonprofits or even just given light or a voice to other alleged victims of the crimes they're saying they're alleged of. Why hasn't Rachel, reached out to other women who have been victims of revenge porn to get their story out there, to get them help? Why hasn't, Nene opened up a foundation or even a podcast or something to give voice to people who have faced discrimination on the workplace? Leah, why hasn't she reached out to people who may be in AA and struggling with, being in spaces where people are drinking and they feel uncomfortable? Like, that's how all of these lawsuits are nothing but a bunch of crap. Nothing but a payday, nothing but ego. Because none of these people, none of them have done a single thing to pay it forward, to help somebody else, to give somebody else a platform. Bethany is out here interviewing Rachel and Nene for her podcast. Why don't you interview Jane Doe, who's been harassed at work, who's been assaulted, who's been, whatever the case is? Rachel's entire podcast is about her trying to change the narrative to make herself look better, recapping Vanderpump Rules shows. Why didn't you create a podcast about women who's been in your position? Talk to women who have been the mistress, who have been hurt by narcissistic people, who have been abused, who have been victims of revenge porn, of public shaming. Give them a platform to share their story and to heal and to create community. That is how these people are only out for self. Because every single one of these women, and it sucks that it's women, but it's Bravo, so a lot of the talent are women, housewives, Vanderpump Rules. The majority of these people are women. None of them have created a space or a community or a platform or a nonprofit or a fund for anybody other than themselves to get help and to get healing and to get resources. And that's why she's trash for this. Name one person who have been out here suing all of these people who has done a single thing to help the community at large. You can't. You can't. All of their podcasts, all of their YouTube channels, all of their lawsuits have been about self. None of them have created community to help heal other people. People who truly identify as victim/survivor. And again, I'm not dismissing what these people's experiences was. I'm not saying nothing happened. I'm not doing all of that. It's not my place to dismiss or do any of that. Usually, what they say when they share their story or they seek justice is that they want to help somebody else and that they're trying to do something to help another woman going through it, another person, man, child going through it. And usually they go public not because they want clout or money or a payday or to get back on a reality show, but because they want to help one person not suffer the way they suffered. That's how all of these little lawsuits is nothing but clout chasing. And that's what is disgusting to me. They should take all this money they're paying their lawyers. They should take all this money that they're doing to plant these press, all the money they're paying the journalist, they're paying the paparazzi, they're paying their legal team. Why don't you take all that money and create a community for victims? I would respect these people so much more if they said, I'm not going to use my money to sue Bravo, NBC, and again, I'm not absolving any of these corporation entities, people of any wrongdoing. I'm not saying that they don't have a hand in this too. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. If she would have said, you know what, instead of doing that, I'm going to fund 5 women, 10 women who were victims of revenge porn. I'm going to fund their lawsuits. I'm going to help them get legal representation. That is something I would be like, you know what? I believe you. But this whole James kicked my dog and blah, 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 and he was so abusive and he hit Kristen and Ariana and Tom. It's nothing but I think all of these people, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but all of them are nothing but walking narcissism, living, breathing, perpetual victims, milking it for everything that they can get. Because to me, this lawsuit is nothing but a get back. I'm pissed because I'm not the favored person anymore. I'm pissed because everybody is fawning over Ariana. And I'm not defending Ariana or anything like that. Well, in this situation, I am. I don't think that I am team Ariana in this situation. I'm even team Sandoval in this situation. In this particular one. I think to go to court, it needs to be something astronomical, but you did this to yourself, Rachel. And I'm not victim blaming you. Don't even come at me with that crap. But any Bravo person out there, if you hear this and you're suing and suing and suing, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Show me how you're giving back to the community. Show me how you're giving back to victims. Show me how you're giving back to survivors. Show me how you're giving back to someone who has nothing to give to you. And then I will be behind these lawsuits. But until that, miss me with this crap. So that's kind of where I land on that. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right. I still see you, Tay Tay. I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up, but we're going to wrap it up in a little bit. All right, go Tay Tay. Any thoughts?